welcome to FPL Focus. I hope you are all well. It is an international break. Yawning, boring, but we will get through it, guys. And there is a lot more time this way to think about our plans for the game week, what we want to do. Absolutely over the moon, guys, with the support. 504 subscribers now. So just a reminder, please do kick that subscribe button. Hit the like button. It all helps me grow the channel. Over the moon with it. So let's get into it. So few players just to begin with. Let's see, move that quick because that's not quite level there. But there we go. I thought I was ready to go. We are now. Right. So first up, we are going to take a look at Bukayo Saka. Now, I'm not much of a stats guy. I do have a look at them, but I'm not thoroughly about that. I'm more about the eye test and what I see, you know. So I'll watch a lot of the games live. I'll watch match of the day, get the highlights of the games that I have missed. I will read what people say on Twitter and go and investigate these players. It's always nice to have a look at what everyone else is doing. Nuclear Atoms, buddy, welcome to the chat. Good to have you here as ever. I hope you're well. How are you finding this international break, dude? Are you chilling? Are you making plans? Or are you switching off completely and just having that little chill out session? Let me know. Also, we've got Bukayo Saka here. Should be actually looping on the graphic. It is fine. Sorry, on my screen it doesn't do it. On yours it does, as I can see on my phone. I always have my phone going at the same time as screen. So yeah, Bukayo Saka, 20 years old. He is the youngest player to get 9 goals this season, along with Emil Smith-Rowe, who is that super sub off the bench. But we are focused on Saka. I really do think he is the future of Arsenal. And I think for game week 31, not just 31, but going forward for the rest of the season, as Arsenal do chase that 4th Champions League spot, can they get it? Spurs breathing down their neck, just 4 points behind. Will be very interesting. You can see Crystal Palace next, then Brighton, then Southampton, and then the tough one, Chelsea. That tough one, Chelsea, though, that is really going to be a cracking game. Chelsea are above Arsenal, obviously. Fairly clear points-wise, but it will be a big game to decide, I think, the top 4. I think it will mean whether Spurs can catch us or whether we can just stay out of reach in that game. I think the other games, Arsenal can go and do a job. Obviously, they don't need to take their eye off the ball. Palace will be a tough game next. I've wrote an article and done some predicted lineups for FF Community, so that will be released sometime this week. I'm not too sure, but I've done a little article for them, so make sure you do check that out. But what I have said, I give you a sneak peek of what I did say in that article, and that is basically that I think Martinelli has got Klein going backwards a lot of the time, and I think Gallagher, if Leno starts in goal, his lack of being able to play out from the back will mean Gallagher's press will probably be effective for Palace. So by all means, not an easy game, an interesting one. Both managers not afraid to, you know, field the youth players. You got Elise, Eze, all the youngsters, Mateta. I mean, Arsenal the same with Saka, Smith-Rowe. You've seen it now. We're starting a new young generation of players. Nuclear Atoms in the chat saying didn't make many plans for game 31. Currently, during the break, I was busy with my classes. Mate, life comes first. If your classes are what you got to focus on, then you've got your head in the right decision. Once you've done your classes and you've studied and got the job or the career that you're after, then there's plenty more times for FPL anyway. But prioritising seems like you've got the right idea there, buddy. And it's nice to have a break. I, as a content creator, I just got to keep getting the content out there. So you can see, as I said earlier, not much of a stats guy, but I still provide them for you. Goals, 9 and 5 assists. Goals, really good. The only Premier League player this season at the age of 20 to get 9 goals. I'm sure he will go on and beat that and clock up the assists as well. I'm just in such a good mood about Arsenal at the moment, but it's not all about Arsenal, as you will see, because we will go to my next pick. Now, you're probably going to be like, David De Gea? Well, I just think going forward, look at them fixtures. Man United really need to pull their finger out, and I think he's the main man. I think even with that Liverpool fixture, as you notice, I go to the hard fixture first, as I did earlier with Arsenal and Chelsea. I'm going there with Man United and Liverpool. Liverpool will absolutely be up for that. I think there's loads of save points to be had there, so don't let that red fixture put you off. But if we look at Leicester, Everton and Norwich, Man United, if they want to sort it out and get some points on the board, those are the 3 games that they've got to do it in. For me, I think David De Gea can definitely get a lot of points there. And he has been pretty much quite a valuable goalkeeper for me this season. That's my personal take on it. I think De Gea will be fine. 5.1, I think that's a great price. Man United really need to sort it out, obviously. But for me, De Gea, lots of save bonus points up for grabs there. You can see the stats there. Selected by just 10.6% people, total points 113. I think he's 6th on the goalkeeping list of who scored the most points. So considering Man United have been absolute ploppers, he's doing really well. Saves 107. He shouldn't have to be called in that much, but he's definitely a man you can rely on to clock up them save points. Nice new graphics, says Nuclear Atoms. Love additional colours animating each section. Yeah, I thought I'd make it a little bit more visually appealing. We're going with that now. I tell you what, it's made the difference. The views are going up. People are enjoying it more. So that gives me great heart to know that. And so I will carry on in this vein of form, doing these graphics like that. Right, we won't bore you anymore with David De Gea. We'll go on to Antonio Rudiger. He's back in the picture now. I've been so happy with him this season. I mean, he looks like he's going to leave Chelsea, but I think before he does go elsewhere, he's going to go out with a bow. And one thing you can say about him is he definitely gets selected all the time. Doesn't give you that selection headache of, oh, is he going to start, is he not? He's going to play, definitely. And do you know what I love about him? I love the way he skips out from centre-back position. Good point, actually. Nuclear Atoms, do you think Rudiger will go to Real Madrid? Let me know in the comments. Carrying on. So, Chelsea fixtures. Brentford at home, Southampton away, Arsenal at home, West Ham at home. And also, as I was saying, I love the way that Rudiger skips out from the back and actually creates a bit in the box. Obviously, danger from set pieces. 2 goals this season and 3 assists. The assists is quite impressive for a centre-back to be that creative. It shows you how much he does get forward. All the XG and XA, the stats, they are taken from fantasyfootballscout.co.uk. So make sure you do check them out. I am a member of the Scout Academy there. Always getting articles out for them every week pretty much. You'll see articles posted on Twitter, on FF Community and all sorts. So make sure you do check them out as well. So Brentford home. This is Chelsea's fixture. Brentford home, Southampton away. Arsenal home's going to be a cracker. And West Ham at home. Wow, that's going to be a bit tough. Will Bowen be back for that one? Nuclear Atoms in the chat saying Man United seems like a red flag now. I transferred out De Gea on my wildcard back at game week 28 because Maguire screws up the chances for the clean sheet. You're absolutely right. Maguire has been awful. It really doesn't help De Gea. Man United need to sort it out though, and I feel like they will be giving it their all. Nuclear Atoms, Rudiger already agreed a contract with Juventus. It's done, is it? Is he's agreed a deal? There you go. Thank you, Nuclear Atoms. So he is Juventus bound. But he will absolutely give it his all. Hello to Ray Qureshi in the chat. Fellow Gooner. Good to have you here. Got Rudy already. Great pick. You're ahead of the curve, mate. I don't have him, but I really just suggest that people do get him. It's just no-brainer. Mr. Reliable. You know he gets selected. And for a centre-back, really, really impressive. I just love the way he comes forward with the ball. And I just keep going on and on about how good he is. Look at the assists. 3 assists. That's so creative for a centre-back to be doing that. Wow. But anyway, on to the next one. and it is Kai Havertz. Can't ignore this man. I think he's left Lukaku in his wake. Lukaku is old news. I don't think Lukaku's going to stay. Things got a bit sour, didn't they, with Lukaku and what was going on with him coming out with that statement saying he didn't really want to leave Inter Milan, and I think since then it's left a sour taste in Tuchel's mouth. Ray Qureshi says, yes, he will play more games than James. Lacks the explosiveness, but likely to start more. Yeah, my manager style, I mean, I'm probably not as gung-ho or as brave as some managers. I go for the safe pick. Call me a chicken, call me a cow. I always go for that security of starts. Pep Roulette is the one that's wounded me the most. So I always went KDB. So I always just try and pick the most reliable. Although, you know, like you said about James is explosive though. If you don't have James and he goes and plays, boom, 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 he can do you like that. But I'm still happy to have them games, Rudiger, and he can give you that little bit extra. It's fine margins, and as the saying goes well in the FF community, I got that in my head from the articles, sorry guys, FPL community, it is that you cannot have them all, and you can't have everyone, but you definitely want to have the best, that's for sure, especially points wise. How are your seasons going this season, Ray and Nuclear? Let us know in the chats. Stick your ranks in there, and yeah, let people know who you are. You can follow both these guys on Twitter as well, so make sure you do check them out. Havertz in the Coutinho, in for Coutinho in 31 for me, says Ray. Nuclear Atoms, I would still pick James over Rudiger because James can score 18 points in one match. Exactly what I just said. It's exactly that, mate. It's the, you know, James probably, like Ray said, won't start them all, but it's the explosiveness. So does it then make up for the times he doesn't start? Well, it does when he goes to St James's Park and really does make it James's Park. But yeah, let's have a look then. So Kai Havertz, 6 goals this season, 2 assists. Not bad considering he was slight bit of a fringe player for some time, but now he's fully replaced Lukaku. He's the main focal point, shall we say, in that Chelsea attack. Midfielder classification on FPL, whereas he does play directly up front for Chelsea. I wonder if FPL Towers will move him to a striker role next season. I suppose that will depend how much Tuchel continues to play him up front for. I mean, with transfers and that, Chelsea might look for another proper striker if they get rid of Lukaku, and then that might mean that Havertz is played off of the striker a bit more. It'd be interesting to see. Cheers, Gray. 52k at the moment, says Ray, with a bench boost and a free hit left. That's amazing, Ray. Well done, buddy. That's massive. Bench boost, free hit. Where can you finish? Where do you think you can finish from 52k with them chips left? Well, I bet you're buzzing. I bet you're excited about that. Nuclear Am's 125k with bench boost left. I had some terrible luck with the captaincy this season. Well done, guys, and it shows you captaincy can be very key in game weeks, that's for sure. So yeah, I'm not much of a stats man, but like I said, always have them on the screen for you. I'm more of a match of the day or watch the games live and pick out little players. Yeah, love football, man. Absolutely love it. Well, that's why I'm here anyway. Rabbiting on. So yeah, Kai Havertz XG 5.69 is taken from Scout, Fantasy Football Scout. And this is from the majority of all the games this season, so it's taken from there. And the mins per point is expected, by the way, guys. I should have probably wrote that in there, that it is expected, not literally that's what you're going to get per point. You can't guarantee that, can you? So yeah, it is expected. But yeah, Kai Havertz, Chelsea, great 2 fixtures to get you going. I had a free hit with Kai Havertz in where he hauled. So yeah, absolutely big balling player. And you ever know when like your mates support a team and they play FPL as well, and you sort of know that they're going to go to their own players, like favouritism thing, even though you can't really be like that in FPL. You have to be like me. Arsenal have to respect Son and Kane, have to have them types of players in your team. Well, yeah, I'm picking Kai Havertz a lot of the time, probably because my mates do support Chelsea, and I know they're going to have him. The funny thing is, though, they're picking Arsenal players and I'm picking Chelsea. So there you go. But Arsenal players definitely can be picked again. And finally, it is the man that we talked about earlier, guys. It is KDB, Kevin De Bruyne, 11.7 goals. 9 goals this season, 3 assists, similar to Bukayo and Emil Smith-Rowe. I feel like he had a bit of COVID going on, slowed him down a bit. But these are sort of players that I expect to do well in Game 31. Burnley next. I think KDB is going to well, Pep is head of the dressing room. He's going to be fuming at the moment with Liverpool breathing down their neck. Let me just have my coffee. Sorry, guys. That's it. Just that swig to wet the old whistle. I think, as I was going to say, Pep is going to be fuming at the moment with Klopp breathing down the neck, Liverpool breathing down the neck. His main man needs to really step up, listen to his manager's words, and as a captain, lead that team out to do the job. Burnley next. Burnley are fighting relegation, though. Sean Dyche here. He'll be fighting relegation. I've got a big valve. That's poor, and that's made my voice go. It wasn't worth it. KDB, against Burnley, definitely expect him to haul and pull his finger out. They've got to. Man City, they lost their lead. They've lost that gap slightly. They need to keep being consistent and win. So it'll be a big clash there. Burnley fighting for relegation. Man City fighting for the title. KDB, I think, as we talked about with Rudiger earlier, being quite a nailed option. And then we've got the Liverpool game. That is a juicy game. That's probably a title decider. If they could get through the rest of their fixtures unscathed, not like Man City did against Crystal Palace with that 0-0 draw. So, interesting, but that game is massive. That is head-to-head at the top, going for the title. Liverpool, they will be playing away. Man City at home. Can Kevin De Bruyne still be the man of the moment and be the leader in that game? And then Brighton and Watford, so I think there's plenty for KDB there up for grabs. Any questions, get them in the chat. About to round this stream off. This is all of my graphics done for players for the foreseeable and for 31. In the chat, Omar Gaze. Welcome to the chat again, Omar. He says, Kai will rest for Real Madrid. Yeah, do you feel like Lukaku plays more of the cup games at Chelsea than he does the league games? Kai is certainly frozen out Lukaku, that's for sure. Ray Chris says, how to fit in KDB. Love the choice, but Kane and Salah are pretty much template. Tough calls. Ray, absolutely fine. I'm just the other side of the coin, buddy. You've got Kane in. Fantastic. He's come into some fantastic form, and Kane will be blazing. You don't need to go after KDB. That absolutely makes sense for me. I've already got KDB, so I was just going to stick with him and Salah. And as you say, it is very tough to find strikers now. So Kane is probably one of the only ones. And this has been, with like Dean Jones soccer and that, he's got DCL. I do as well. I've got DCL after free hitting. He came back into my team. So it was like, and he got an assist. So is that his saving grace? Everton have been absolutely awful, but can DCL actually get anything? I doubt it. Strikers have been very poor this season. Really poor. Bar Ronaldo smashing in a hat-trick and Kane just picking up his form again. It was that Son-Kane combination again, wasn't it? KDB is not the player from last season. Agreed. Absolutely agreed, but I do think he's coming back better. I have to say, I do think he is improving. Like from the COVID and that. He was obviously off the ball a bit, but I see improvement. I always see danger. He always picks out them dangerous crosses where he doesn't justify his price tag. I think Mahrez is better. Mahrez is, in my ideal world, if he started every game, I'd go Mahrez as well. just more attacking. Always cuts in from that right-hand side. Just constant threat, Mahrez. But doesn't always play. Maybe Pep just loves him for a bit of Champions League as well, when you probably need a bit of that going on the wings. In which matches will Arsenal keep clean sheets? Oh, how about... Let me think now. Will Arsenal keep clean sheets in their matches? Let's have a look. Brighton, I think they keep a clean sheet. Southampton might be a tough one. I feel like Arsenal are always growing defensively, week in, week out. They learn little things. Like, it was at Liverpool, Ramsdale's mistakes come out. Like, the first goal got his hand to it, but it wasn't a strong enough hand, which is so unlike Ramsdale. But he's young. That's just a mistake. Next time he'll think, I have to make sure every chance I get strong hand to it and push it away. And the Firmino goal as well. Just getting that little touch before Ramsdale managed to claim. Things like that need ironing out. Ramsdale might not be back just yet, which is good. We don't want to rush him back. It's been an absolute sensation for Arsenal this season. So, yeah, for me, I think there's things like that, and Ramsdale will probably be a lot better next game. So the little mistakes we've had through a few fixtures, we've had Gabriel doing stupid mistakes, like scuffing up the penalty spot. He won't do that again, will he? Xhaka, different matter there for Xhaka. We had Ben White give away a penalty in one game week. And since then, Ben White has been just absolutely amazing. Last-ditch tackles. So, all of them young players. They're all learning. And I think every game, Arsenal gets that little bit stronger defensively. Such a young team. A lot to learn. Vignesh, welcome to the chat. He says, Cody and Jimenez out for Cancelo and Weghorst on free transfers. For me, Jimenez is lacking Hwang's support at the moment. I feel like he needs Hwang just to be that bit better. So for me, Jimenez out is okay, but then you can't really go anywhere else, because as we discussed earlier, strikers have just not been consistent this season. Unless you've got the funds to get onto Harry Kane up the top, or can Ronaldo do some amazing things at the end of the season? You had that hat-trick. Cody out. I'm a big fan of Connor Cody, but yeah, Wolves have not quite been the same. And I can see with your double Wolves move there that you're wanting to get off of Wolves. Makes sense. Cancelo coming in, absolute beast. Weghorst, he does double in the game week. Is he going to get anything against Man City? I doubt it, but Weghorst, he does double. You've got a chance of getting something from the second game and just have the minutes played as that extra. That kind of can help. But yeah, I like the moves out. The moves in, Cancelo's been a beast. Absolute beast. Nothing wrong with that. Weghorst is a questionable one, whether you want him for longer term. How many points do you actually think he's going to do? He does have lots of doubles for days, Ray. Absolutely right. You just have to think to yourself, out of them doubles, how many points is he going to get? But at the end of the day, doubles are doubles, so they're there to be had. So, yeah, not terrible moves at all, Vignesh. You're definitely getting out, like Arsenal did, you're getting the dead wood out, so to speak. Yeah, so that basically wraps up the stream, guys. 5 of you in the chat. Really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already, please do kick that subscribe button. Hit the